Good evening, Stonecrest. Welcome to the TIPS Committee meeting. This is the Transportation Infrastructure Parks and SPLOST Committee as one. At this time, Councilwoman Washington, will you please go ahead and do the roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem George Turner,
Here.
Council Member Terry Fry,
Present.
Council Member Tara Graves, Gia Strauss, Council Member Tammy Grimes,
Present.
Council Member Alicia Washington, present, Mayor Jasmine Cobble.
Thank you very much. Let me just say that Councilwoman Tara Graves says she's going to try to come on virtually. So we'll look for her to sign in any minute now. You have an agenda before you. And the first thing on there after roll call is the approval of the last meeting agenda. Let me say that some of us haven't had a chance to completely go through it, and there was some correction that needs to be made. So I'm going to request that we defer the approval of this minute. Be so kind.
So moved.
Second.
The father move the second to defer the approval of the minutes from the last TIPS meeting. All those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Opposed, say so. Mr. One. I'm sorry, excuse me, please. I'm so used to coming from the dais proposing it that way. So if all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, is nay.
Aye.
Thank you very much. First item on the agenda is road rating analysis report. Harry, will you be so kind as to get us started?
Good evening, committee chair and the members. I have a small presentation prepared about our road rating. And then after I finish my PowerPoint, I'm going to demonstrate the way we have mapped our progress of all the street paving since the incorporation of the city, and also the conditional analysis on the GIS about the conditions I'm going to show you.
And before you get started, let me say that it's been quite warm in City Hall, and we're trying to keep it cool, so there's a fan running in the background. So if our tech, double check and make sure it's not interfering with the audio. If we have to endure, we'll cut the fan off and endure the heat. But I want to make sure that the public can hear it.
You could turn it off. I'm straight on this camera.
You okay?
Are you
I will leave it on for now unless there's some complaint. Go ahead.
Right, thank you. So this payment evaluation, you may remember that the council authorized the contract with the consultant. So we're going to do the payment evaluation of the entire city of all the streets. The reason the council did that is because the one we did was originally about 5 years old. And then the council decided it is time to go in and get a new one so that we have a better understanding of our streets. And then, also we can use that condition analysis for the next 5 years of paving. So the field work of that is completed in first week of December 2023. And the city received street images of the entire city. It was shipped to me in FedEx with a big flash drive. And then I have it stored and it is in our possession now. So that we received the file on February 15, 2024. And the data analysis and calibration of the street was completed in first week of April 2024. And I received a draft report on April 12, 2024. The draft report doesn't mean that is halfway. It is a complete report. So all the final PCIs are included in the draft report, and it's final. And then the consultant is working on the final report, and it is due last week of May. That final report is going to add a 5-year recommendation. That is the only difference between the draft report and the final report. So the draft report, technically, it is 100% complete, and that is for our use. And then we will be basically using that report for our next 5 years of paving for the next 5 years, and then we'll be starting with the lowest of the PCI numbers. Instead of focusing on the individual sections of the street, I want to talk about the overall city's condition of the streets in the next few slides. It is very exciting. The council should be very proud of what we have achieved in the last 5 years, particularly in the last 2 years, because that's where the difference was made. The reason being 2022, we spent a lot of money on the streets, $12+ million. You may remember the council approved 2 change orders for 2 subdivisions to get it to the correct condition. Lionsgate being one of them, and that made a big difference in our PCI numbers. So overall, you can see this graph here. I hope everybody can see this. The dark green means it is an excellent condition. That is PCI ranging from 85 to 100. And 28.6, almost 29% of the streets in City of Stonecrest are in excellent condition. And 26%, 26.2% is in very good condition, which is 70 to 85. And then 12.4 is in good condition, 60 to 70. And 8.3 is in fair condition. 9.1 is in marginal. 10.3 is poor condition, and 5.1 is very poor. So usually once this evaluation comes out, cities focus on the very poor and poor. Those are the first one we prioritize to get those paid. So 2024 and 2025, we will be focusing on very poor and poor condition streets. Remember now, we do these PCI numbers for segments. A segment means a length of road in between 2 intersections. It could be a 4-way intersection or it could be a 3-way intersection. So those are the segments. So each segment is assigned a PCI number based on the condition analysis. There are multiple factors considered in this assignment. So the surface roughness is one of them, and then the subsurface condition is another one. Smoothness is also considered in this number. So this is where we are, and you can see from this, the average, we have about 217 miles of streets in City of Stonecrest, and overall our PCI number is 68. And what is called backlog? The backlog means that we have to bring it up to the standards, which is about 15.4% of the street, which is very good compared to some of the other municipalities. If you consider them after 5 years of their existence, 15.4% backlog is very good. And the next one is it's a little more technical. You can see the percentage of network by area. So every street is measured for length and the width, and then the area is calculated. So 19.1% of our streets are about 90 in the PCI. 16.1 is 80 to 90. 18.8 is 70 to 80. And then what we'll be focusing on is the first 3 and 4, actually the fourth one also. We'll be focusing on starting from 2024. We'll be working from left to right to get those corrected. And the third slide is going to be network. Overall, you can see the PCI range, and it gives you a little more information on that. Next one is basically percentage network work by area. Okay, this one. So this is basically percentage of network by area. It's giving you a little more, grouping of the PCI numbers based on the condition. So excellent is 85. The previous slide, you can see that it's from 90 to 100, but here, excellent, if it is above 85, it is excellent. So you can see that the numbers here. And then we will be focusing on that 5.1 and 10.3, which is 15.4% of the backlog. That's what we will be focusing on. And the next slide is, you can see It is based on the area, and then the street classification. So the arterial streets, and then the local collector streets, local streets. And the other one is that they did not, you know, do an analysis of that's why that is 0. So arterial streets are in very good shape, 74. Collector streets are, 69. Local streets are the lowest of the PCI. And then you can see for each group of PCI numbers, the arterial streets are the red, and those are basically most of those are in very good and excellent condition, because when the city was incorporated, our main focus was to pave the arterial streets, Turning Road, Mall Parkway, and then those got paved at the beginning. That's why, those fall into the higher category. The reason the city choose to do those is because those have the highest volume of vehicles, and also those streets take the load of bigger trucks, the heavy trucks, and then also people drive through those streets, not just our residents. A lot of people drive through those, and then we want to have a better name for our city. We don't want, portrayed as the Stonehurst as a, not a good street. That's right. The city chooses to do those things, and since 2022, our focus has been the local streets. If you see that dark green there, those two columns are basically because of our 2022 and 2023. Of course, these two columns got into there. So that's talking about the functional classification groups. And here, this is showing you the 3 factors here. Your IERI network distribution, roughness index, international roughness index. Our 63% of the streets in Stonehurst are considered smooth, and 34.3 are considered marginal, and 2.18% are considered rough. And that we will be focusing in 2024 on those 2.18% in the paving. And then this is again, it's going to give you based on the roughness index from 90 to 100, network coverage, and then where the PCI numbers fall. The consultant has done a lot of analysis. I did not include all the graphs here, but the report that is going to go into our website, this draft report is going to, I have already made a PDF out of that. It came in an Excel format to me. I already made, and the city manager asked me to go and put that in. When we go to the work session, we want to publish that in our website so that everybody can look at. Any questions on this?
I'm gonna ask though, that. Go back again to the very poor and the poor. Can you give me mileage? Do we know mileage on those pieces?
We do, but not in this group. So I need to go to the spreadsheet for that. There is a spreadsheet. It's a 5,000 line spreadsheet. So every street, I'm gonna pull that.
You don't have to do it now, but I would love to have how many miles we have of excellent, very good. What does this equate to in terms of mileage? If you can convert,
Okay,
if you can convert that,
we can do that. But I think answer your question in a second.
Okay,
That's going to be a very exciting.
Okay.
So I'm gonna switch to that one.
Yeah, can I just add to that question, because I have that same one, and that is, you said is 2.18 in rough condition, and 2.18 of how many lane center line miles do we have? So we can do the math.
It's right. It is 217 multiplied by 2.18 is going to give you.
That'll give us a rough idea of how many rough streets there are.
So you're saying I need to take am I taking a percentage? Would this be 2.18% of the 217?
Correct.
I can do that math.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
And I can do that now, that's not a problem. Okay, on to the next question.
Right.
You said IRI was International
Roughness
Roughness
Index.
Index. Are we always?
That's
looking for-
commonly widely used so
Okay.
that everybody are talking the same language.
Okay.
We don't want to be measuring in a scale and then,
Mhm.
Councilmember, you need to remember this now. The PCI numbers prior to us, the Stonecrest doing, the first street evaluation, PCI numbers were calculated by DeKalb County. And their DeKalb County's PCI numbers are reversed actually, compared to all the other cities in DeKalb County. Their 0 means great, the 100 means the worst goes. So when we hired our own consultant and did it, we kind of switched to everybody else doing it. Because everybody else used the mechanized method, which is the scanners, the high-tech scanners, drive through, the cameras take pictures, and then, those scanners send the vibratory, radars into the surface and take pictures and get a condition on the surface, and that those signals went down and come back. That gives you how strong your base is, and that also gives you another number, and then they, extrapolate, interpolate all those things and come up with a final number for each section.
And while you're there, and we don't like wasting money, as a city manager, but at the same time, the DeKalb County used to get a rating annually,
Right.
and we do one every 5 years.
Yes.
And conditions of streets change
Right. So
quite often, so it's a waste of money to say, let's do it maybe every 2 years or every 3 years.
there's one correction to what you just said. So they do every year, but they don't cover the entire city. So they do portion by portion by portion. Because I think there was one gentleman who's doing that. So, but it takes more than 5 years to get the whole city done. So, when somebody calls and complains, they send that person. A lot of cities stayed away from that method because, it depends on the mood of that person. One day he gets up on the wrong side of the bed and he looks at the road and say, okay, it's 50. And the next day he's happy and he comes back and say, it's like 70 to me today. I'm not saying it is that different, but when you have that manual way of doing it, it is very difficult to be consistent. You go on daily, every day, 5 days a week.
So what we have is scientific,
Correct.
and my question still is 5 years often enough to get an adequate reading?
Yes, sir. Yes, that's 5 years is what the standard time everybody's doing. The PCI number changes based on the conditions. The purpose of this is to get all the worst streets done first anyway. So by the time we do those first year, second year, third year, fourth year payment, all the worst streets have been taken care of. And then some of those average and good condition may have fallen down. At that time, we can go back and do another analysis and inspection and get that updated. The asphalt payment, what do you call that, life cycle law, the duration is 10 to 15 years. That's the reason we don't have to do it every year because the payment has to last for more than 10 years. And there's no reason to be doing this shorter than 5 years ago. The condition changes unless we have snow and sun every other day. The conditions are not going to change much if we do it right.
Then I yield to science and not my front end alignment.
And okay, one more thing, and then I'll stop. Harry, I heard what Representative said about the 5-year piece. So when those streets that have been rated excellent, very good, not in the poor, very poor, within those 5 years when they go super bad in segments, how then what should be our cadence for sharing that? Because I've got quite a few streets that I can tell you right now have some very bad on some, what would be okay roads.
Then I also want to piggyback off of what Tammy just said, because, the water department, okay, after they paved it, they came and destroyed the street. And then they came and put asphalt down, but it's not smooth like it was. Okay, so they did a terrible job of just filling in after they dug and tore it up. And, so we have to still wait with that 5-year period to get that street back to the way that we had originally paved it for. Do we make them
Yeah,
accountable
city manager
for,
can
right, do we
say,
make them accountable for not going back and fixing it after they tore it up?
Yeah, well, we, have recently gonna sit down with DeKalb County and talk through some of those things. But
Okay,
obviously, when we inherited, I mentioned a couple of them, I believe, in this presentation of streets that may not have been included on this study, but some that we have visually seen some unique circumstances. Barrington, Rockland, but Rockland is, we're gonna address that partially with the county. And then there's another
Thompsonville.
Thompsonville
Thompsonville,
Road.
Panola, I think that's on this, agenda here. So those are the ones that we wanna put, include when we get ready to do the solicitation for the paving for this year.
Okay.
And
Go
then,
ahead, Tammy, were you
I
satisfied?
think I'm satisfied, as long as I know they can be brought and given attention. 'Cause
Harry and I have talked about some other roads and we visually have it looked at and just said we want to make that recommendation to put
Rockland.
it on there as well.
Rockland,
But we're also, because of the water main issues on Rockland, we are also going to work with DeKalb County to see how they can make the repairs to where they have,
Rockland,
And David, right, not.
Hey,
like
everybody, don't just.
not like,
Yeah,
Salem,
like,
Thompson.
not like Salem one. With that rubber dub.
the next step on, now that you have this report and putting this with.
Right, so, we're working on the list of roads. It is based on the budget, the council approved, $6 million. We're working on that, we are starting from worst to, best. And, not all the streets we want to pave in 2024, not equal to 2024, because it's based on budget. And then, whatever we miss this year, we're definitely going to put that in the 2025. And, I wish we have unlimited ones. We don't.
That's another matter we'll deal with about the bonding, but that's.
Right. So that's where we are. And then, and then I think city manager has some discussion on this last year. So I want to go over what we have. This is very exciting. I just wanted to mention our GIS manager here, Kathleen Rogers.
You said 6.4, you said 6 million,
$6 million, yes.
that's for the evaluation?
No, street
For the
paving.
road.
Oh, that's,
For the road.
okay.
Yes,
Ooh, I got
2024.
I got you, okay, I'm sorry. Go
That
ahead.
was, not even,
Well,
Okay, so what I'm going to show is that what we have done so far as a city. So 2019, we started the city paving, and these other streets got paved in 2009. 2020, we paved these streets. 2021, you can see these are mostly collector and then thoroughfare streets. 2021, we paved these streets. You can see that the Moore Parkway green coming up there in 2021. So 2022, I was part of that paving. You can see the screen lighting up when I turn on 2022 because that was the largest paving the city has ever undertaken. And then most of these are residential streets. That's 2022. And then these are the streets paving 2023. I think those are mostly District 3, I guess, council member.
Which one's,
And 2 it is. The 3. So This
Yeah,
is what we
yeah.
have paved so far. All these streets have been paved. And then, we were able to get that payment condition analysis. And I'm going to turn off all those things and go to the conditional analysis report I just presented to the council. So I'm going to turn on excellent condition streets. So these streets are in excellent condition. And then I'm going to add the very good to that. So these are very good and excellent. And then I'm going to add good to that. So we are not going to be resurfacing any of these anytime soon. And then the fair ones,
That's the yellow.
yellows,
Okay.
and then the marginal ones. And then we're not going to touch any of these streets in 2024. And then the poor, you can see that. And then the very poor. So this is our conditional analysis report mapped by our GIS department. I worked with them for the last 2 weeks to get this map done.
Can you take everything off except the four in the very four?
That's what I'm going to do.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
The great minds
I'm
think alike.
sorry.
Yes, we can, but it is not public yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we just finished mapping, so these
But
are,
it will get us there.
it'll definitely get us there, yes.
Okay.
So these are the very poor condition streets. And then these are the poor condition streets. So these are the ones we'll be focusing on. This year, 24, you can see some of these streets that are not in the subdivision and poor condition. We're not going to focus on those. This year, we're going to focus on all the very poor and poor in the subdivision. The reason being that we want people to get the benefit of this lost money. They have been paying, so we're going to be focusing on and that. So the streets we have selected so far for 2024 point, this is only a recommendation. I want to throw the caveat here that council has the final say. This is a recommendation from the staff. And those streets are going to come in black. If you watch it carefully, those are going to be overlaid on top of this. So those are the streets we are proposing to pave in 2024.
We don't know the name of them right
I'm going
now.
to zoom in a little bit and then show you what subdivision we're talking about. So we are looking at this subdivision. And I can show you in the Google map how bad those are. And then we're looking at this subdivision. And then we're looking at this subdivision. And then we're looking at this subdivision. This is over Salem. And then we're looking at this subdivision. That is your school, I guess. And then we're looking at this subdivision. And then we are looking at this is the only section we are paving, which is not subdivision.
What's Barrington Parkway? Okay.
And then we are looking at this subdivision. And we're looking at this subdivision.
Yep, there it is.
Where is that?
Yeah,
That is
anything
Rambling Way.
from-
That is I know that place very well. What's my leg out there?
So are these the only ones in the poor condition? No, there are others too. But we can stretch our money only so far. And what we are missing here in this list here, we're gonna take care of those next week.
Okay.
So this is just, the reason I did all this exercise is to show everybody that we're not randomly picking streets to make people happy. There will be always complainers or unsatisfied customers. But this is a lot of efforts and money spent on selecting these streets. And the evaluation, and then there is a science behind this, council member, so. So it's
Have you
not-
seen inside?
so that's where we are. And I don't know what I meant, I showed you this one. So, what we are going to do is that, I have a staff member. He's going to go and, put his eyes on these directly, starting tomorrow after he takes his driver's lesson, training. And he's gonna go there and look at it. And then also he's gonna drive to this section of Canola Street, Canola Road from Snapfinger to Brownsville. And then, I guess that is next presentation, Councilman, I'll wait for that. So that is my presentation, and then, this is available for internal staff only for now. And once the council approve the list, we'll publish this, because we don't want to publish anything not approved by the council. We don't want people to take any, wrong thinking that these are gonna be paid. This is only recommendation for now.
So we can get this on which agenda?
The May council meeting.
No, we need to go for, yeah, we can get this list to the council, yes, to go into the big, correct,
To be on the May's agenda.
Right.
Everything will be ready to go.
right,
Work
right.
session or council meeting?
Are
There
you
is,
speaking of this, let me get clarification, are you speaking of the,
He needed approval of certain measures so that he can get it published so the public can see
right,
it.
so.
they need to see it published, but we also need to, get approval from council to say, these are the streets that we're recommending, so we can do the solicitation.
Okay. And your recommendation will be to us, this recommendation will be to us by council meeting? Or you
No, we don't need
you
to,
work-
this is, yeah, it is a work session, we don't need to be getting a formal council approval for the vote, because you will be. Approving the contract, I don't think we ever went for to select the road. Did we?
I think
I
we'll
would
put it on the next agenda, but
Because
the work session is already out.
it is.
It's already in the work session.
Okay.
Okay, the,
And from the work session, we'll roll it to the agenda in May. I mean,
It'll put us at the end of the month before we do the solicitation. I just want to make sure that the council visually sees the streets that staff is recommending, because these will be the streets that we're gonna have in the bid document.
Right.
So that in another 30, 45 days, when we come back in July, it wouldn't be a surprise as to the list of roads, because you would have already seen it. That's my only thing that I want to make sure that.
but if the list of roads are ready for Monday, we can't make an adjustment?
oh, you can always add it to the agenda. I just want to make sure that.
Manager Scruggs, are you saying that in terms of, because I know that they have to list roads, have to go into contract, are you saying that that we have to wait for the contract to be fully written?
No, I'm saying I want the council to be aware of the list of streets that we plan on putting in the solicitation.
And we can share this on Monday.
Yes,
Okay, good.
Monday we have the same presentation to the work session,
Then we'll,
same slides and everything.
you have
But
heard
you'll
it.
have the list of streets.
Correct,
Yes.
yes. Yeah. The list of
And you will
streets
have
is on
heard
the
it
map.
twice by the time we get the council meeting at the end of the month. And ready to make this.
You see them on Monday, those are the streets that we're gonna put in the solicitation.
Okay.
And unless you all have some easiness about the street, that's what we're gonna put in the solicitation, but the next time you'll see it will be.
Contract,
You need
The
a contract.
contract.
Okay,
right, that's it,
Just like-
because we never vote the list before even going to the bid to get the council approval. We just, everybody say hi, and then we go on that, because time is the essence. We don't want to be getting into
I know.
October, November paving. We want to get this out.
Absolutely.
And then that's why we're bringing it to the main meeting, first meeting. And council says, we're blessing this, we go and put the bid out. And then give them 30 days, answer questions, get the bids, come back to the council.
Would it be too radical to suggest that we hold a special session just for this item? Approve the list and then get you already started on it?
But why do we have to approve the list? I don't know, we don't have to approve the list, we just need to see the list.
Yes. When we see the list on Monday,
Monday,
there's
we
no
good.
objection. They start putting together solicitation.
It's not a formal
Go out and-
Yeah.
We already have
The city manager directed me and the purchasing to work on the solicitation 2 months ago. So we have it we were waiting to do the
Sure.
presentation, so we can.
Listen, now that you got the presentation, I'm saying. Wait a minute, you're right, we don't have the rest of the council. So
We
let me
tips,
just-
tips
Yeah,
committee.
That's fair, that is, just realized, sorry.
It's all right.
But could we not still hold a special call meeting to get this out the door? And then use a special call meeting to discuss this item. Then get it out the door so we can make it for the summer months?
We already
Monday.
have them. We already have them.
Oh my God.
Monday.
Oh my,
For the council. And then staff will just, as a result of that,
continue to do their work.
do the solicitation.
In order to get a special call meeting, we'd have to advertise tomorrow and maybe have it by Friday, when we're gonna have one on Monday anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the road list was never approved by the council. Because there's no separate voting for that. This is basically information that everybody's happy and then, council is giving directions. And
Just trying to figure out ways we can make shortcuts.
Monday is good.
Monday is good.
Monday.
We're not losing any days, Mondays.
Okay.
As long as we got a forum.
Okay, what's next?
That's my presentation on the paving.
Thank you very much. There's another item on the agenda that I was going to pull off, and let me just tell you what it's about. SPLOST 1 receipt summary versus SPLOST 2 receipt projection. We're gonna move that to the finance committee. They're the ones that have the numbers on it. When we first voted for SPLOST, we had a projection as to how much we would collect. And we need to know how much did we actually collect, because the last day of collection was, March 31? 31? Yeah. So we just need to tally that up. And there's a projection as to how much we're gonna collect on the SPLOST 2. We just kind of want to compare the two. So that would be on the finance committee. So we are essentially pulling it off of here. And finance committee date hasn't been announced yet. There's
It's on Wednesday.
question about it. Well, there's a question about a conflict with another meeting, so look for correction on tomorrow. Next item on the agenda is Panola Road modification timeline review. We've talked about things that are going to happen on Panola Road in terms of widening Panola, improvements in intersections, and various improvements from Farrington Road all the way down to Brown's Mill, although we need to go all the way to 155. But I think our first objective was get us to Brown's Mill. And we put some things out there that we haven't revisited, so just wanted to revisit those suggestions and see if they're still on task. If we need to make some adjustments, we can add to. So, Harry, what do you have for us to keep us on line with what we're doing
So,
on Farrington? Or recommended for Farrington? I'm sorry, Panola.
No. Panola here, this section here, so this section here up to Farrington Road here, from Panola Industrial Boulevard to Farrington, that section will be taken care of by GDOT when they are doing this intersection. We don't have to worry about that. That's up to you. They're going to be taking care of that.
And the divergent diamond is still on the table for that?
Divergent diamond is still in there, and then there is some signal modifications, and then they're tapering their activities to that point. And striping, lighting, everything is included on that. And I get invited for monthly progress meetings, and I attend all those meetings, and then all those meeting minutes, and then the agendas are saved in our city engineer drive here under Panola intersection. And they are nearing completion of the right of way acquisitions. Some of the businesses are going to lose receipt of their frontage. And then the city council also approved, signed the MOI with GDOT, and then asked to pay money to do the 10-foot long stone crest name sign on both sides, so the 10-foot long
Mhm.
height.
Mhm.
So when you drive through there, you can see. So that design is going to be completed sometime in November, December. And then the lead date, lead means that now we call it big date, so the lead date is December. So once that, they select a contractor, they will start working on it. And so, we're working closely with the GDOT and the consultant, so there will be some difficulties, traffic difficulties during construction time, and then we will coordinate with everybody here to do that. And then, I think, Mayor Pro Tem, you may remember this. Before the incorporation of the city, we kept on the study of Panola. And then that study was all over the places. And then I think at the beginning of the city, there was some negotiations between Stonecrest and DeKalb County for them to cost share the study. And then there was a 50-50 study and a 50-50 cost sharing on the study. And then we joined the managed, but I was involved in the study, and then the study was completed back in summer or fall of 2023, and the consultant came and did a presentation. And so there's a lot of intersection improvements. You may remember this roundabouts everywhere.
So they got rid of the roundabouts, because it was supposed to
The
be.
roundabouts are still there in the design. So that study is in our website, the results are in our website. Anybody can see, those are under city engineer major plans and studies, Panola, it's there. And so at that point, what we discussed is that there are about 4 or 5 projects recommended. Our plan is to tackle or take the first project, which is actually from Farrington Road here to Thompsonville Road. That was the first project we decided. To do that, we need a lot of money. And then to get the money, we need to have GDOT ARC funding. To get that, we had to be LAP certified. So the council approved the documents in the April 23rd council meeting. We have sent those, the mayor immediately signed those the same day, and I have sent them to GDOT, and then we're waiting on our certification. Once we have the LAP certification, we will be aggressively looking for grants. So this section, usually these projects are done in multiple phases. The first phase is being, they did a concept for that. So we'll be taking that concept for that section and bidding that out for design. But we definitely want to apply for the grant first and get that grant and include design, right away, and construction. Those are the 3 phases of the project. So we want to have that because when you take GDOT federal ARC money, there's a process for that. That's what the certification is. You have to do historical, environmental, noise, wildlife. You have, when you take federal money, you have to work with it. If you use your own money, you don't have to do anything. But to do that, we need to have a proper consultant, and the selection of a consultant itself is governed by the documents that the council approved it. There. So, once we get this LAP, we'll be going through that. And, you know, if there's a change in plan for the council, let us know which section we want to prioritize for going after the money. So from that presentation we did last year, I think council, there's the inclination is to do the section between Panola, Manola, and Thompson Hill, because that's where there are too many lakes and then open field for everybody to cross from one side to the other and then go on. And, you know, potential accidents would happen. So that's there.
Tell me LAP again, tell me what that means.
Local LAP, local program, project management.
Local,
Local,
I think I remember asking you this question before, but I don't know where I wrote it.
right.
Okay, but. Okay,
LAP certificate, local administrative project. Local administrative projects. Yeah.
okay.
But as it stands right now.
Yeah.
There is nothing on the drawing board with a date or projection as to when some of this might occur. And any of the segments, until we can get some funding.
Correct. So when the August rolls in, you know, the city manager will be working with the council to come up with our capital improvement plan. And at that time, you know, we should consider putting some money for our share of, you know, there is always local match.
Okay.
So if we allocate some money at that time, so when we go to the ARC, we can tell them the council already has some match funds for these and give us the money. So. That's what it is.
Okay.
But we can't do anything with those grants until we have somebody who has the LAP certification, is that what you said?
So we have, GI is fully certified, and I'm certified, and then I'm taking next Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm taking one more class that expires. So we have staff to manage this, you know, until I get mine, I'll be operating under GS certificate. And, you know, we have submitted all the paperwork necessary to downtown.
Okay.
GDOT, and then they rejected our application saying that we have to adopt their purchasing policy.
I remember
We
that.
had- And then we came and we took care of that portion. So we're waiting on that.
I just know that when we mention these projects and you don't hear from them again, and it disappears in thin air. So that's where the Panola widening or improvement
Mhm.
project.
Not widening.
I know initially it was Panola
It
widening.
was widening, yes.
And then they said, well, if we can't widen the whole street, we can improve it with turn lanes and roundabouts and some other strategic construction work to make life on Panola better. So right now, there's nothing, but here's a chance of getting a segment to get the process started.
This, important, I want to tell you that this is very important for us to take those projects south of I-20. The reason is that once this intersection get improved, the traffic is going to move up and down much more smoother than what is now. So we don't want to be bottlenecking down south when they cross through there and come faster. We want them to be moving instead of blocking the entire street. So it's very important for us to take segment by segment and then start improving all the way, you know, all the way to Browns Mill at least, because the other section is, I would say, mostly residential. So we need to do that.
I know there are a lot of plots, well, not a lot of plots, but there are other plots involved. So you said ARC,
Yes,
how about DOT since we crossed 212?
right. So
Get to 212.
right, that will be more. So the mechanism is that you know, ARC is created for disbursement of the taxes. Right. So for ARC itself, GDOT is the project manager for the ARC fund, right? So when ARC allocate funding, they will appoint a GDOT employee as the project manager and, all these local, they call it locals.
Mhm.
They call us local
Okay.
projects, so, they will be the one hosting those monthly meetings.
And the DeKalb County, helped us with the study. What about the actual project? Are they still a player in this? Still in the DeKalb County, you know? So that's the question we have to ask. Okay? Who are they?
Right, so.
Benefactors.
Another thing I wanted to mention here is that, we have a new employee now. So what we're going to do is that we will be including in the 2024 payment. We will be including some of these sections of the street here. You will see, he's ordering some spray paints and everything, so he'll be going and marking these sections here for us to bid this also in the 2024 payment, please. So we're working on that too. So you can see, there will be like a 20 to 50 feet of section will be patched and then resurfaced here. And then, some of these actually require heavy repair. The reason is that you have to dig it up and put GAB to stabilize the base and then come up with those top two layers of asphalt. So
Yeah, they did come and, fill them holes, the pictures that I, took on, not on the road, I'm sorry, Barrington Road. I want to let you know,
Right,
they did
yes.
come and fill those holes.
yes,
It
so
made the drive a
Councilman,
whole lot
those
better.
things happened the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we are getting some correct method of patching in the last 2 weeks,
Okay.
or maybe I would say 3 weeks. They're done in that Stonecrest Park support that Stonecrest here. They done multiple, and then I drive throughout the city in the last couple of weeks, and I saw instead of just throwing an asphalt and then just driving
Just
over,
rugged.
now we are seeing some real patching. So, this is another, I think
Real
Mayor Pro
bad.
Tem always talk about this,
Yeah.
this area here. So we will be, you will see these, white spray paint of these sections in the next, few days.
Okay.
What is that exactly?
This is when you, this is our, canola source here.
Yeah, okay, so it's on the end by 155.
Right,
Okay.
so it's,
That's what I
everything is
thought.
in between 155 and,
Brownsville.
Brownsville. So this section,
That's dangerous.
right, this section, you got this worst section, right?
Mhm.
I don't know whether you can see my arrow there, right here. And then a good section here, and then when you get closer to Brownsville, you got this
Another.
That's-
Right.
section. So we'll be marking all of them. And then
That's
right
how
there,
it
this
sounds.
way.
So that's how your tires sound.
That's what tires sound.
I'm no engineer, but that's extremely, thin line. I think that's contributing to part of the problem. You left
Which one you talking about?
a little thin line,
Thin line?
move your cursor to the left,
If this one,
more to the left, no. Don't enlarge it. Move to the left. The other way, the other left. Yeah, right there in the middle. Is that a stream?
this one, yeah, that's a stream, yes.
And it feeds directly into,
South River,
Panola Road, and there is no bridge to come under it.
right? So
It
this
feeds
is,
into Panola Shoals.
this is that crossing here. And then, you may remember this, that last week, week before, that, the water was gushing through that, what, 3 weeks ago? And then they came and fixed that.
But still, the stream abuts the road, and it's just gonna continue to cause, well, I'm no
There's no
engineer,
drainage.
but it would appear to me that it would continue to cause a problem if there's no way to get under it, or over it.
Right here. Anyway, so that is there anything else, Mayor Pro Tem, you're looking at Panola?
That's a big, huge, and a lot of, turn lanes, because we still back up, at some of the subdivisions, what's that, Willow Creek or Willow Bend, Willow Brook, I think it is. You come over that hill and there's no turning lane and people have stopped to make a left and they back up and they catch it in the rear. So, I'm not sure what it would cost to put a turning lane. But you guys talked about putting a roundabout there. didn't you?
Right, roundabout, yeah, roundabouts, these recommendations are based on the volume and speed and everything. And hopefully, they'll move.
Slow them down, slow them down.
I love my roundabout. They people have to
Yeah,
learn how to
me too.
drive.
That's
Just learn
right,
how to
slow them
drive.
down, that's
So,
real important.
it's
Slow people down.
Roundabouts, accident, fatal accidents are lowest on the roundabouts.
Oh, sure.
There's only side swipes. There's no,
Get on.
there's
T-bone.
no T-bone. So it is only a side swipe. But when you have the signals, that's the reason, every city prefer roundabouts. You gotta get used to it, that's it.
That's all. They can
People
get used to
who resist roundabouts, after they drive for a couple of years, they
it.
say,
They
"We like it."
fine.
They like it.
This is the newcomers who coming through there.
Right. And also, when there is a lightning strike and signal goes, you don't have to worry about it. They just go through, and then if the signal gets hit, everybody, it operates like a four-way stop. And then obviously, people think that they came first to the stop sign, the sign, so. That's what happens.
If you get in the roundabout and can't get off.
It's true. I like it because you can change your mind. You don't have to drive a mile to change your mind and turn around and somebody driving. Just keep going or whatever.
Okay, well, we're just gonna keep this conversation alive about Canola Road modification. And,
Yes,
let's see
definitely.
something happen.
Something happened.
That's a bad
Want to
spot.
see it happen, yeah.
Last item on the agenda is, Botanical Garden versus, City Park examples. I know for Metro Atlanta, Fuqua with, Piedmont Park and the Atlanta Botanical Garden, that is a beautiful example. And, what we've talked about so far has been the park portion of the Botanical Garden. We're looking for what is it? The botanical portion of the Botanical Garden, but versus just a park. What examples are we using? You got Callaway Garden, you got a couple of botanical gardens down in, Newton County and a few other around the city. Ultimately, what are we looking at having that we will call the Botanical Garden? Even we had one on Rainbow at Wonderland Botanical, that was kind of a starter, Botanical Garden. But it was an example of a botanical garden, so we're still looking to get a feel for what is this botanical garden going to look like from that end of it.
Is our naturalist on? Wouldn't that be a question for the naturalist?
So, Sean, I don't think he's on this meeting, but he has gone to several, botanical gardens in statewide and over in Tuskegee. Myself and Harry have sat down and discussed some of the recommendations that he has made. But before we move forward, the current consultant that we have is identifying some species of plants, thank you, that, based on the location in the botanical garden would be best suited. And then obviously there'll be some other opportunities to look at what is currently there. And they do, I believe they've already done an inventory. I don't think, Harry, you don't have to.
I opened it, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go.
Well, I guess I'm teeing up what he's getting ready to show, but, they've already looked at some of those things. But before we move with what you all have already seen, that was just a concept of what it would look like. Obviously, we want to make sure that we describe to the public, even, I think, I think the term was multi-use field. And we don't want to give the impression that that is an athletic field. It is not. The use for those would be for, rental, for weddings, parties, picnics, things like that. The design of the building itself is, once we get to the more into the design of it, Obviously, it'll be a huge lookout post to see the entire botanical garden. But also have a lower area where, would be perfect for weddings and wedding receptions. And then I think we've also talked about having it be 2 stories so that, you can look out, have almost like an observatory.
Mhm.
And then on the inside, of course, having areas for the teaching component of, botanicals, but also have maybe some additional exhibits that are friendly to, people who come in to just take a look to see what is actually going on. But it will not be another recreation center. The intent is to have it designed such that it is emphasis on the botanical garden, a lot of area for, while the center itself will be active, but a more passive environment for people to go out and walk and just observe nature. So that is the big picture concept of what it is. And then I believe I'll go ahead and kick it off the
Thank
hair.
you,
He's
thank
gonna
you, City
show,
Manager. So,
show what I just said.
right, so basically, I'm gonna do the show and tell for what was given, by the City Manager. So,
We're not doing a dog park though, are
no, we
No.
are.
We
we?
voted that out.
So, dog park,
I was thinking about it, what about a koi fish pond?
What?
Corfish,
Koi fish,
I mean, that could be a part of it. Botanical.
So,
But again, that's what I wanted to hear.
right, so this is, this is portion that we did not discuss in the last council meeting here. I just want to be very careful with this presentation because this portion of the land is under the Georgia Alabama Land Conservation Easement. And then anything we publish on this and we get permitted by them before we move forward, but this is the recommendation phase at this point. The consultant has gone and surveyed all the specimen trees, which are 36 inch and above, and they're not the pine trees. Those are the surface you see there. So they have inventoried all the trees. And they also inventories the existing path. Yeah, so you may know this, there is some good concrete path.
Sidewalk,
Right. So those are, so the red line you see there is the main trail. So, once the people come into our, the portion where when we have our building and all the other activities, they can walk and do a circle. So they don't get lost in this, because, when you get out and you come around.
How many miles is that?
I don't know that yet, but
Oh.
we will have all those details, and we're definitely going to have markers and everything when we finish it. So the red one is the main trail, the blue one is a secondary trail. If somebody wanted to walk a little more, they get off that red, that lower right corner, and then go to the blue and come back, and they don't get lost again. And then you have the yellow one, the tertiary trails you have. So if somebody wanted to walk over there, they have, so we get, there's the trails. And also you can see the botanical garden components are included in this. These are other botanical gardens there, so you can see the lower left corners, we have butterfly pollinated garden. You have that. And then you have Georgia native tree arboretum there on that other side. And then you have native, garden for sun, you have that. And then you have wildlife garden there. And then you have, what is it, Fern Glade native riparian zone. That is, it's a botanical garden term, I guess. And then you have native shade garden. And then you have entry focal point there. So this is our botanical garden. It is easy to get permission for planting trees. It is difficult to get permission from them to remove trees. I just have to remember that. So we'll be, we have to submit these things and get approved in writing from them before we publish this out. So going back to our other, let's see how to get out of this. Go back to Okay, going back to the original discussion we had the other day is this one here. So there is slight changes on this. You may remember this. This is what the council approved. There are some slight changes here. The dog park pavilion is taken out. And then some parking added in this area here. I don't know whether you can see my arrow. And then one of these fields, these multi-purpose fields are going to be shifted in this area here. And then the trail from existing Farrington Park is going to come and join right here in this area. And then if, you know, through that trail easement we have going behind, and then this area here is going to be expanded a little bit to be able to, we'll be able to place 100 chairs in that lawn. And then when we have events, and then this building is going to be, the circle and the blackboard is going to remain the same. The building footprint is going to shrink a little bit to go 2 stories. And then in the backside here, like the city manager already mentioned this, going to have a second floor jetting out a little bit to have an area where you can have you can actually have some tables and chairs there, like an outdoor. So, you know, and then inside, if somebody wanted to have a wedding in this open air, and then want to have a rented space for dinner or reception or something, you're going to have that inside also. So classrooms, when the school children visit, they're going to have an educational session, and then they'll be taken out to the entire garden and given tour and things like that. And so we are happy, you know, we are fortunate to have the Farrington Boulevard that gives us a good access for, you know, buses and everything for people to visit this thing. And then with the additional parking lot we are installing, we are completely, the design is complete, Councilmember Washington. And then
For
we
the
are going to
parking lot?
be preparing the bid document and bid it out. And then we have additional parking there, and then leave parking. You know.
When will they start that project for the parking lot?
Like I said, the design is being completed.
Oh,
And then
design.
we are preparing the bid documents, and then we're gonna bid it out. And
Okay.
then we bring, once we select the consultant, we bring it to the council to approve the
Approve it,
contract for
okay.
parking lot construction.
Okay.
So, you know, this is going to be, you can see these 3 lines and shrubs, everything, where these outdoor events are going to be held here, kind of a backdrop for that. And, you know, originally we were going to put that little tassels and everything here to do, at the door park to do, that wedding ceremonies and things like that. And our consultant recommended that, you know, you don't really want to have, cars driving through and have a wedding there. So we decided to expand this area here a little bit further to have 100 chairs so that we can have that. Just, you know, looking at the building backdrop is nice flowering vegetation and things like that. So there is a $700,000 appropriated in 2024, but we definitely have to add that additional money for this in 2025 budget. I just wanted to put that out there for now so that we can complete this project, because this is, you know, one of a kind, one-time project for this conference. We will not be building another auditorium, you know, instantly. So we want to have this done right.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, it is not just for Stonecrest. We want this to be famous, you know, beyond Stonecrest, beyond Georgia.
I've got a question on here, and I want to make sure that I get clarity on what I thought I heard. It may not be what you said. You said this is going to connect to Farrington Park?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
So here's my concern.
Yeah.
Are we not charging for entrance into the botanicals?
We are. Yeah.
So how does Farrington Park come in for free or uncharged?
No, this is basically not, this is for the additional parking. Church. So when we need additional parking, we will be using that. Correct, and then, we are definitely controlling that into this location, right here. So,
So where it
That's-
funnels in at,
Yeah,
right,
there's
that's
no
where the
driving
parking
here.
lot, that's where they're building the additional parking, right there. Where it funnels into the park, that's where the additional parking goes.
this gate here, council member, will be controlled here, it's not free walking. For everybody.
Okay, that's my concern.
Right, yeah, we definitely keep it open once there is a function, and then when we need to use that parking, we want to, control that and let the people park there and come to it. Or they can actually park here,
Now, I know there's a bridge and a stream.
yes.
I didn't see that really well this,
Yeah,
what
it
are
is.
you all doing with that?
It is there, is there in somewhere here. It is, let me zoom that a little bit. See that there?
Where's the arrow at? I don't see the arrow.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sure. So, all right, see that sidewalk here?
Oh, see it now. Okay,
So,
that's it right there with the purple?
right, now this, there are streams here, multiple streams,
Okay.
and then one of them is crossing here, I think, and
It's
then
a
you have,
crossing bridge.
right,
yeah.
and then you have the larger one here, and then there's another crossing here. So there are multiple crossings actually, and then, this, once we get the approval from Georgia, Alabama, land trust, we
Okay,
need to do some cleanup also, because there is a lot of debris.
yeah, it
Then
needs
we
work
need
on, it
something
needed
has
work on
happened.
it, yeah. I was
We
actually
want
there.
to clean this up, but we want to get permission for it.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that part.
Madam City Manager, let's talk about public-private partnership. Having a apartment complex that close to a botanical garden would be a plus. But if we're gonna do that, they gotta clean up the act. You have there's a massive apartment complex, a condominium, and even the Walmart en route to
Mhm.
this botanical garden. You can come down Farrington Parkway, or you can come off of Farrington Road and into the Parkway entrance there. And that time is not most attractive. So we can start that private-public partnership, because this will benefit the whole area.
Mhm.
So if they clean up their act, they can, I'm not saying they can charge more for their apartments, but their apartments will be more attractive
Location.
potential renters if you're next door to a botanical garden.
I agree with what you said, Mayor Pro Tem. I think, anytime you do something of this magnitude that is this close and intimate into residential, I think we just have to take the opportunities to engage them as well as the commercial that feeds into that. And the big thing is to notify them and have meetings that they are aware of our intent. That gives them time to make some changes as we are still developing what we're gonna have out there. And hopefully that will all come together at the same time. So I think we certainly want to look at having some communities with the commercial and residential.
And the sooner the better, because people already have a stereotypical impression of what that area looks like with the Walmart and the litter that we try our best to control. Thank you, Ms. Washington, but still, it's a challenge. And people say, well, y'all can't put that there.
And I thought we were having two entrances, entrance in the front and one in the back, right?
Of the
We have two entrances, right? They didn't start off with the two. At first, they said we're gonna have one over
But
there by
even
what's
at, but
in
even
houses
at
there.
that, I mean, you can come off of Nola Road down Farrington Parkway, or you can come off of Farrington, Road, in front of the Walmart and come in, but they were merged in
Right.
front of the apartment.
Right.
And there's an impression you get when you see the mud holes and the paper and other ragged fences and stuff. We want to try to fix that now.
Well, I mean, that. Sorry about that. I get very sensitive
That's
right
don't
now.
blame me.
But my
Don't-
point is, I hear
Don't
you,
blighted area.
I hear you, but, they're doing better. They're doing a whole lot better, because I'm demanding it to be better. I was in Walmart today and asking them to remove all of the carts, and they need to get more control with their carts, because those people are taking them down the street. So I talked to the manager today at Walmart about them doing better, especially at the exit on Panola. They like 6 carts there, and like, I clean it. I get out and clean Panola exit all the time. But my
It's not
point
just
is that
citywide,
they,
no.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
yeah, so
Here at the, Officer Swampers, right here, this morning.
What'd you have?
Oh, buddy,
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, when you go. on-
yeah, but not to the degree it is in my neighborhood.
and public
All of
just
them.
put red boots on their carts.
Yeah.
Freak me out.
Public did that, and that's good, but
But they said they
Walmart
wouldn't
need to
do
do
it.
that, because that's what's going down those streets, is the blue carts. And so I
There you
brought
go.
it to their attention, 10 carts. I told them exactly where they were at, and I told them they need to go get them. You know, and so I just have to stay on them with that, because they need to do the same thing Publix did. You know, because they should not come past their parking lot, all the way down the street.
I think if we can, I say we, since it is in your district,
Mhm. Yeah, no problem.
certainly establish some meetings so that we can talk
Mm-hmm.
to the right appropriate people to see if we can collectively come up with a plan that is gonna work for everybody.
Mhm.
Because also that, little strip mall will be another part,
Down
I mean,
in
I'm
the-
saying another, entity that we would need to talk to, because the traffic that comes in there, I mean, that whole area.
Right,
and
that
not
whole
just-
section.
Walmart, the Lowe's, the restaurants that are right, I mean, just that whole area, letting them know what we plan on doing. I think that's.
So exciting. So exciting.
So it benefits
so-
the entire area.
Yeah.
And just so sharing what we're doing with them
Right.
is what is.
And
what I would
what-
say we do.
You know, we have completed the Farrington sidewalk design for a segment. There's still one more section. I'm gonna get that bid out, you know, in the next few months. So we will have, Walmart. People will come to the Walmart from Farrington, all the apartments, they can walk now. But once we issue put the sidewalk, I don't want them to be rolling the
Cars down there, right.
You know, because
And that's
now
why I
we have
was
a
talking about
small circle
public
there.
works too with you, Gia, with that flooding. We don't want them having to come down the opposite side of the street every time it rains. If flooding is so bad over there, you know, and that's why, it was a recommendation that we sit down with public works. It's been going on too long for years, you know, that they do nothing. You know, so I just need to get that.
Yeah, we've reached out to them, and several of their departments to have a conversation about that.
Yeah, about
And then
that.
also just other projects that they may be doing in the city that we need to be aware of, and then also our list of things that we want.
Okay, one thing, one way is now 2 ways.
Yes,
and I
two
didn't
ways,
know it. I
and it's
freaked out.
really hazardous
Oh my
because
gosh.
it's a hill. They actually go up a hill and you don't see the cars coming. And it's just a blessing. It has not been an accident, but I'm not sitting back waiting for an accident to happen before we do something about it. You know, so, and they're kind of used to it. They're used to it because it's been doing it for so many, long, you know, but that still ain't don't make it right just because it happens. You know. And we need that street to be right, going and coming. We don't need that deviation like that. It rains.
So we'll get with you, Councilwoman Washington,
Okay.
so that we can put on the calendar, because it's not gonna be just one thing, it's gonna be multiple. And then I'm saying you because it's your district, but
Mhm.
certainly full council support too.
No problem.
Because, it's one of those things that, you know, when you bring something into an area, that is what can change lives, that can change perception.
Right, and change the way that they think even, you know, the way that they think, you know.
Absolutely.
better
Hey, I'm
neighborhood.
talking virtual and residential.
Mhm. That's right. All
Okay,
right,
what else is there?
Nathan?
I'm done.
This is the point for public comment. Anybody from the public? No public comments, any comments from the committee?
No, just
There's none.
the number of streets, just waiting on that.
All right, but again, this is an opportunity for us to vet a lot of what's gonna come before us. So please participate in the process of setting the agenda for these meetings. And we can pick and choose the thing that we know we need to hear from. So we'll be ready to deal with it when it comes to the agenda, when it comes to putting the budget together, and we can properly budget for the things that we want to see happen in the city of Stoneville. And the public can get a feel for what we're actually hoping to make happen. Some of it might not come true, but it's our job to try to make it happen. And that's what we're here for.
That's true.
All right.
Absolutely.
So if there's nothing else to add, this committee meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Chick-fil-A. Right, guys,
Are
I'll
we-
see y'all in a week.
Are we all?
Right.
If you see an elephant, where you were.